Hello everyone, it's Hugh and Joe. Today we are going to discuss about consideration in state security. So our knowledge question is, to what extent is ethics a consideration in state security? So our claim is the benefits gained from torturing individuals would provide benefits for the whole country, such as getting information to prevent terrorist attack and stabilize the country.
Okay, so let's get started with our real life situation. The report of the Task Force on Preserving Medical Professionalism in National Security Detention Centers concludes that after September 11th, health professionals working with the military and intelligence services designed and participated in cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatments and torture of detainees. Medical professionals who in effect told that their ethical mantra, first do no harm, did not apply because they were not treating people who were ill. The prisoners faced many different kinds of torturing, such as causing severe harm to the detainees, from waterboarding to sleep deprivation and force feeding. Okay, so let's talk about the good side of torturing. In some serious situations, such as the ticking bomb situation, where a destructive bomb is about to blow up in a public area in a short period of time, the information about where the bomb is placed can only be achieved through the bomber. The CIA has successfully arrested the bomber, but he refused to reveal the information about the bomb. They have applied many ways to force the terrorist to disclose the location of the bomb, but none of the way works. So, as a matter of fact, the CIA has to use the only left way to get the information. It's torture the terrorist. Thousands of innocent people's lives are being endangered and they cannot do anything about it. Since when the life of one criminal is more important than thousands of us? If they do not give the terrorists temporary physical pain, our citizens will die. Obviously, the cost of torture cannot compare with the benefits. Moreover, the probability that the CIA has caught an innocent person is extremely low, nearly to 1%, because with the use of modern technology and the cooperation of many authorities across the world, it's impossible to misdefine the target.
Similar to the situation of the United States, the use of torture in North Korea is to protect the whole country. A report was released from United Nations Human Rights Council. The report had a collection of data from satellite prison camp survivors, more than 100 victims, experts of North Korea. One particular reason that get those North Koreans into prison camp because they watch South Korean soap opera. The techniques to torture in the prison camps are force prisoners to kill their own infant, force them to be in the stress position, forced to eat grass, snake, they got bitten, and rapes. The prisoner were treated as non-human. The idea behind this issue is the government trying to keep the system in order to protect the citizen. The North Korea purpose is clearly to protect their citizens from the upheaval society. That is the role of any particular government. In the North Korea, it favors torturing for even small mistakes to prevent any slight chance of instability might happen. Therefore, it must detect any suspicious action. Let's go back to the case of South Korean soap opera. The show might convey the idea of individuality, solving problems, thinking in different way, how the character in the movies could do anything they want. The sense of freedom in the movies could make the watchers envy they could possibly taking action to be free like the characters in the movie. Massive amount of people would eventually criticize the government for strict rule if a Korean drama spread in wide scale. It is possible to spread virally. since it is human nature to share others about what they're interested in. By criticizing the government, the citizen would rebel against the government. Since many people will be in protest, the government will have heavy oppression that could kill many people, put many of them into prisons, execution, which eventually threatening the food security and increasing the number of hunger, threatening the lives of many people. This idea often influenced many people to find another path toward freedom for their better lives. The use of torture made the North Korean people to behave the way that the government wanted them to behave. The people would not want to be suddenly disappear like others they have seen their neighborhood. The suspicion of the government helps to stabilize the country to stay away from chaos. The purpose to torture is ethical only to keep the system in one stable peace. Without the use of fear in such country, the people could against the government due to poor living condition and lacking of rights. By stopping the behaviors of the individuals by fear, the government would provide a large benefit for the majority of the North Koreans without the use of torture as a harsh punishment. The government would harm the people indirectly by giving the chances of instability to grow in the country. That could harm the country as a whole. The government role is to provide a stable country for the citizen. Without that, the citizen rights and benefits upon pursuing of happiness could not be guaranteed due to many lives of North Koreans could be threatened from war, lack of food, and downgraded in living condition.
On the other hand, country could not gain benefits from torture all the time, since they could torture wrong person and interrogate irrelevant information, or torture the people that could not harm the government. According to US law, the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights does not approve torture. In Article 5, no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Also, the United Nations Convention Against Torture bans torture of all civilians, combatants, prisoners of war, and terrorists alike. This is an ambiguous piece of international law which forbids the use of torture in all circumstances. This includes the exceptional ticking bomb scenario. Back to the case, how do the CIA know that the information gathered is justifiable? There is a probability that they are arresting the wrong person, even if the probability is infinite small. It is worth the risk to torture someone for an unreliable reason? Absolutely not. Furthermore, even if they know that one person is guilty, punishment is banned in many countries. That guilty person must be judged in front of the court before receiving any kind of punishment. After the terrorist has been tortured, he will probably suffer from both physical and psychological damage for the rest of his life. He may suffer from amnesia, loss of memory, death, and it's obvious that the US has forced the doctors to violate their ethical responsibilities as professional doctors. They have no respect for autonomy, which in this case, the patient does not have the right to choose his treatment, and also violates the more maleficent rule, one of the 10 rules every doctor have to live by, created by Hippocrates. A doctor is never allowed to do harm on his patient.
Let's return to North Korea. The cases of North Korea triggers the concern of the benefit of the country. Torturing North Koreans by irrational reasons, such as people trying to find food for their family, which does not harm the government at all. The people are just trying to find food for their family. Without food, those people could die, which will weakening the North Korean. Many people in North Korea do not have access to nutritious food by capturing those people that are lack of food, which does not have any intention and they do not have ability to against the state. Torturing those people could not help the government or society by any means, only harm itself since people would lose trust in the government and doubting upon the justice.
To sum up, torturing a person who has been not found guilty by the court is completely wrong. There are chances that CIA can arrest the innocent citizen. The use of torture has to provide the benefits for the whole system. It increases the credibility of the government in protecting their citizens, make them to support the government more. However, the government must consider the situation where torturing people where they could not done any harm at all. Thank you for listening to our presentation.